It's the Battlehawks at the Brahmas. Spread favoring Kaká by 1. Total at 42. Forecast looking like fireworks inside. So bring your earplugs, folks. When these two quarterbacks are slinging it, this is going to be a ball game. And I want to focus on the St. Louis offense first, who really found that run balance in week 2 with a guy by the name of Mateo Durant, the former Duke Blue Devil, comes off the bench, inactive in week 1, rips off 104 yards and a score. He's now top 3 in the league in rushing, just 1 start under his belt. In fact, first player ever in UFL history to go over 100 yards. So you can't ignore what Durant did, but it's going to be a much bigger challenge this week for him. That is a formidable San Antonio front that he's going against, and they might actually be missing up to 4 guys, including some interior linemen up front. They have been the second best rush defense in the league, only allowing 56 yards per game. Will Reed and Wade Phillips have it rolling. So even if St. Louis doesn't find that same run success, you still got A.J. McCarron. And he just thrives in these late game situations. They shouldn't have lost to Michigan at the end there. That was a defensive debacle. They bounce back in week 2 and show you what this pass offense can do. You cannot leave any time on the clock when you've got McCarron back there. And in fact, St. Louis learned we're not going to leave any time on the clock for our opponents ourselves. Notice what they did late in that game against Arlington. They sat on it. They took it down. They kick a field goal. They were not giving the ball back to Arlington in that situation. That was real heads-up coaching by Anthony Becht. Marcel Aitman, best wide receiver in the league through 2 games. He leads the UFL in yardage and touchdowns. But you have to think he's going to start drawing a little more attention. I saw the Brahmas signed Cam Dantzler, former Minnesota Vikings starter. I don't think he'll be able to go this week, but that's interesting because they might be a little banged up in the secondary. I know Darius Phillips was dealing with an injury, so watch out for Aitman. And even if you take him out of the picture, you still got Darius Shepard and Hakeem Butler. So it's a no-win situation for the San Antonio secondary here. AJ doesn't pick favorites in this offense. He just picks open. If you're open, you're getting the ball. He's hands down the best quarterback in the league, especially when it comes to going through the progressions and finding open guys. And more importantly, he doesn't throw picks. Through 2 weeks, only quarterback in the UFL to not throw an interception, of course, is A.J. McCarron. I do expect him to get sacked a few times like he did against Michigan. But edge to the Battlehawks offense and Bruce Gradkowski, the OC here. It's not going to be easy. San Antonio has only allowed 1 touchdown on the season, but I think St. Louis will be able to put some points up. I have faith in McCarron. I think Shepard at this point is leading the league in targets. They've just been phenomenal. When it comes to that San Antonio offense against the Battlehawks defense, there might be a strange edge for St. Louis here that absolutely nobody is talking about, and that is third-string quarterback Brandon Silvers. You're probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Well, hear me out. We like to get into strange connections here on Springball Boulevard. It just so happens Brandon Silvers, who has been holding A.J. McCarron's clipboard this year as the third-string quarterback, knows this A.J. Smith offense like he knows a good time at Floribama. So, for what it's worth, that clipboard might have some secrets on it this week. So keep that in mind. Of course, the real edge is going to be decided by the players on the field. But how will that affect? That's some gamesmanship. A.J. Smith, of course, smart enough to know that the quarterback who started for his Roughnecks throughout the entire XFL 2023 season is standing on the opposite sideline. So are we getting a little bit of a change in terminology? And things are different when you're a quarterback. A lot of players have been, from one team to another, and you could probably make this same example for a lot of different squads, but it's different when it's a quarterback, especially when he's not playing and he has the opportunity to serve as a second offensive coordinator and a game manager for A.J. McCarron, which is ultimately why A.J. brought him in. You notice Brandon Silvers got signed the night before A.J. announced his big deal? They're buddies. They go back to their days on the Alabama Gulf Shores. They play golf together. And I'm telling you right now, this is the week where that kind of thing matters. But, like I said, we're going to talk about the players that are actually on the field. And one of the best ones will be Brahmas quarterback Chase Garbers, coming off an inexplicable 275 yards passing in only the second half of that win over Memphis. Here's the difference this week. San Antonio's been dreadful on third down. Just 4 of 19. Last in the league. That's a big contrast from Arlington, who hit over 50% of their third down tries against the same St. Louis defense last week. So, the Battlehawks secondary, they might not be able to contain Stevenson, Kirkland, Latimer, but it's not going to matter if Garbers doesn't have time to get them the ball. So, I know he's been really good outside the pocket. He showed off his legs in the comeback last week, but the Brahmas have a big problem on the offensive line from an injury standpoint. Last week, left tackle Derek Kelly out. He's now practicing in a limited fashion, but we don't know if he's playing yet. And then the center, Alex Millette, who is the anchor of this line, goes down mid-game last week and moves to the IR. Now, I do have to give the Brahmas some credit because they had only 6 offensive linemen last weekend, 1 backup for all 5 spots after Kelly and Millette went down, and they still scored 20 in the fourth. So, Andre Gurode is the offensive line coach there. He should have won Coach of the Week. That was a pressure situation where if even one more guy gets hurt, even a cramp, you got your last offensive lineman running onto the field to snap the ball. So Millette's gonna hurt. We'll see about Kelly, but they're thin up front. We've seen some real disasters happen on offensive lines this season. You think about Michigan giving up 7 sacks to Birmingham, Houston jumping off sides, basically costing them a chance to win the game against DC last week. It's been shaky. So will the Brahmas fall victim to that this week, to a hungry St. Louis defensive line featuring Travis Feeney and Pita Taumopenu? Also, what about the kicking game? I'm sure you guys heard about destroying. Very serious, unfortunate injury. Just tough that he doesn't even get to kick a field goal. And, that was a real bright spot for the UFL. And just gutting for him to, you want to live your dream out. He was telling everybody, I'm finally a football player. This is what I wanted to do. And have all that support and really everybody rooting for him. And then just a bang, bang play. And you would really love to see a positive come from that injury and see him bounce back. And hopefully by the time he's back, we go to that XFL kickoff where he's not going to have that opportunity to be another high-speed collision like he was with this kickoff. But the Brahmas did sign a kicker, and Zook, he is 6'5", 250. Ryan Santoso. Big Toe Santoso. I think I just made a nickname for him. So I don't think that kick returners are getting past him unless they can outrun him, because that is a hoss kicking the ball off. So he's gonna be thrown right into this situation, have to kick off, and kick field goals. So give me the Battlehawks. I was actually pretty surprised that that's opened up St. Louis -2. And a lot of you are probably saying, what, you thought Brahmas would be favored? No, I actually thought St. Louis would be favored by more than 2. I think I'm getting a steal here. I thought this would be like 3.5 or 4. And for the third time this week, Zook is, of course, going to disagree with me because he's got some confidence in A.J. Smith after what they did last week.
I mean, First of
There it
all, yeah, I'm taking San Antonio. I'm not going to agree with you. My reasoning is, why would I?
Just be blunt.
My reasoning is that defense is going to shore up those penalties. They gave a ton of
Yeah,
first
almost
downs,
150 yards of penalties. Yeah.
6 or 7 first downs off of penalties, and man, that offense is going to open up. It's going to. They're going to get started on the right foot. I like San Antonio's defense way better than St. Louis's.